All right. Little energy, wake, huh? Love the sound system here. So let me begin by saying this. You know, all brands begin somewhere. Nike has a mythic beginning. We call this our brand genesis. And when I think about this, for 50 years, Nike has tapped into athletes and teams and sports. Our brand is built off a very simple but very powerful and repeatable formula that stands true today as much as it did 50 plus years ago. And as I think about it, I want to share with you the trifecta of the individuals that have helped script and create this wonderful brand that we have. There we are. So it begins with this. Steve Prefontaine. Anybody know him? Rock star runner, rebel, changed the face of running. Bill Bowerman, inventor, track coach, tinkerer. Always spent his time designing shoes and trying to make the athlete better. And this guy, the legendary Phil Knight, began by saying, how can I change a business model, change the landscape of sports? So these three founding fathers, the spirit of our brand, the inventive quality of our brand, and the entrepreneurial push of our brand exists today, even to the point where those three imparted strategies and a brand ethic that stands with us now. We are, as a company, rebellious. And what we rebel against is the status quo. Sports and athletes staying still. They don't like that. We're about innovation. We're about changing things, bringing new ideas to the marketplace, and disrupting with distinctive innovations and products. And lastly, we're entrepreneurial. We know that there's a business out there in the world of sports, and we don't want to just play the formula. We want to invent new ways to bring goods and services and ideas to the market that surprise and delight our consumers over and over and over again. That mission they started is exactly the same mission we work with today. Now, I want to talk for a second about what it is I do and with my team. I have an amazing job. I'm absolutely blessed. I drive something I call modern sport design. We're lucky. We have over 1,000 diverse creatives working in Beaverton and throughout the world. Diverse in discipline, diverse in background and approach, from architects to footwear designers, apparel designers, writers, multimedia designers, graphic designers. It doesn't matter. What matters is passion and energy. Their job is to serve athletes and push sports forward. So they wake up every day thinking, how can I make a change? How can I inspire somebody to get up off the couch and go do something in the landscape of sports? As I roll through some of these slides, it gives you a taste of what we do in Nike Design and modern sport design. So we, number one, thankfully get to work with people like Serena Williams, the world's greatest tennis player, KD, one of the world's best basketball players. We create dynasties like the Oregon Ducks. We have athletes on the world stage, Neymar, even your everyday athlete we get to work with. So, and not just athletics, but also fashion and style. And lastly, with modern sport design, we're not simply solving problems, we can also be a catalyst for change. And so as you think back to those images, I like to think about radical simplicity, distilling ideas down to its essence. I talk to the designers about seductive reduction, taking enough away and inspiring them with things that are left. I also talk to them about making sure that they obsess craft and detail, and ultimately their expression builds an aesthetic that connects to consumers. Now, modern sport design, when I'm done with the strategies, I land with my teams in three things I ask them to think about. And these have stayed true for some time. Number one, our design staff are problem solvers. We dig deep into knowing what athletes do, what they need from us, and how we can help them achieve their personal best. Number two, we're in the taste-making business. Nobody's going to buy ugly function. We have to lift our own taste and drive a very clear, compelling, and coherent aesthetic. And we do that by blending form and function and performance and style. And lastly, I asked them to think about making cultural connection, connecting people to big ideas, and big ideas back to people, so that people ultimately work together. I love to say that we're proud of what we make at Nike, and we are, but I'm even more proud to know what consumers make with the products that we give them. They make personal records. They make their own transition, their own transformation, and that to me is the result of modern sport design. Now, this comes to me and our teams relatively easy because of this quote. Our chairman now, Phil Knight, about 50 years ago gave us this powerful and simple gift. Always listen to the voice of the athlete. It's an amazing idea. It's beautifully simple. It's been repeatable. It's been a part of our formula. But today, it's not enough to listen. Today, we have to go deeper. We have to dig deeper, know more, ask more questions, define bigger problem sets so that our solutions take the world forward. To do that, we seek more information. And so it's this idea that began really simply. This is a photograph of Coach Bill Bowerman simply talking to Prefontaine before a race. What can I do to help? Serena Williams, we pay attention to her and what she's paying attention to. We sweat Kyrie Irving. How does he move on the basketball court? What is his game and how is it different? We put our top athletes in the lab and we study them all the way through their body, their complete athlete system. And now, with emergent technologies, we get to go deeper and deeper than ever before at a molecular level. Our designers are thinking literally beneath the skin. Surfaces, muscles, nerves, tensions, bones, it all comes together. So we are going deeper and deeper to find problem sets. Which leaves me here. The job remains, we always begin by listening. What is needed? And then we observe with our eyes, with our data sets, with our NSRL, and now, more than ever with powerful technologies, we can analyze that and propose amazing ideas. These ideas, to me, and this combined past idea with the future of technology have left me here. I believe we are at the dawn of a new age in design. I think it's a powerful age. I think it's an inflection point. Quantum craft, ladies and gentlemen, is the fusion of the hand and the human and the data and technology coming together and converging in ways that create the new, the unexpected, the unimaginable. By using quantum craft, you'll see in our designs, we're able to advance our design intelligence, pushing our products forward. For example, the spike plate that was used for Allison Felix. So by advancing our intelligence, we can also increase our creative output. We can dig deeper and connect to revolutionary new makes where these forms were never able to be done because of the inherent limitations. And so in doing all this, the job remains the same. Our new Flyknit bra, wonderful supportive bra, one layer composite, designed down to the nano stitch. Our latest technology, React, is both chemistry and composition and craft together. And Paris Saint-Germain Football Club, we're able to work with every single athlete and custom fit exactly what they need. So quantum craft, to me, is this emergent dawn of a new day, and it's a bridge for us to this endless pursuit of improving athletes, this endless pursuit of designing better and creating more wonderful creative opportunities. This is about human creativity. It's leveraging technology to advance the human imagination and human creativity. That's the point. So I'll end that quantum craft here with looking at some of the juxtapositions that Nike gets to play with between craft, as we know it, and chemistry, emergent chemistries, between creativity times calculus, putting those two thoughts together, intuition and data coming together, nature and technology coming together. We get to explore the poles, and we get to explore the spectrums in between the poles. And within that, we get to push the future of sports forward. It's a bridge for the future of creativity by converging these two ideas. Let's obsess a little bit further some of the subcomponents of quantum craft. The first one, and this is the engine of quantum craft, it's computational design. I know most of us in the room have heard about this or know about it. Computational design isn't relatively new, but there is a Moore's law happening where people are more and more powerful with these technologies. I'm super excited about this because I think it does a few things really well. It lets us have this high fidelity design opportunity. It lets us reimagine putting form and function together. And it lets us find a bold new aesthetic. And so as you go through some of these pieces, this is an outsole. We could have never done this 3 years ago, seeing how it flexes, seeing how it bends, seeing how it can change on body. We would never understand the potentials of a garment architecture like this unless we begin to bring in data points. We would never be able to put together sweat maps, nerve endings, muscle structure, and then move to skin points and nodes. And each one of these is a part of making an athlete perform, and then put clothing on top of that precisely how it should be and how it should, I think, energize that athlete. So again, I believe this computational design is just that springboard of imagination, that springboard for creativity. And we're super excited to see where this takes us. At the end of it, it offers 3 simple ideas. Highest fidelity design, letting designers go deeper and deeper from a sketch to a pixel to a knot to an atom. It lets us as designers reimagine form and function with the power we haven't ever really had. And in doing so, we get to push a bold aesthetic, one that might not have been seen, but that feels somewhat familiar and simple, but at the same time, it's looking forward. Having said that, another big component to quantum craft is this idea of revolutionary make. And I'm here, I know Flex is one of our sponsors. I'm incredibly pleased to say we work with them. They're helping us push what make actually can be. It's moved beyond the needle and thread. For us, when I think about revolutionary make, I'll show you an example that recently just dropped, and that is the LeBron 15 shoe. This is a knit shoe with our latest technology, designed with the computer, designed with knitting programs. We couldn't have created this minus the technology. Contains you to the foot. It extends the range. This, of course, is the Rio kit we designed for the Olympics, helping the athlete become more streamlined by looking at the nodes on the body. Couldn't have been done without the data set to help us understand exactly where to put things. And so with these new revolutionary makes and these new outputs, I geek out on this because I'm a designer. I love control. I have superior precision and control. I can put technology exactly where it's needed, down to the nanometer, that is helpful for an athlete. And I love that control. It lets our designers obsess even more how to put things together, go beyond just the average cut and sew, and think about that next level of creation. And to me, next level craft is our designers literally thinking at an atomic level, not just the naked eye, but what is the next level of craftsmanship that we get to be a part of? Another important component to this is this idea of developing a new aesthetic. And a new aesthetic is emerging at Nike constantly. And so if you just saw the Flyknit shoes we've done, some of the bra work from Flyknit, you'll see the Air shoe in a second. That couldn't happen. That aesthetic could not happen without that convergence of those two ideas. We want to be able, with this aesthetic, to blend the human biology and the anatomy of the athlete in a more symbiotic way. So it's almost hard to discern where the body starts and stops and our products start and stop. That, to me, is a fantastic goal. It harmonizes. So give you a quick taste of some of those aesthetics that we're playing with in products. The shoe I'm wearing, the VaporMax Air, full airbag, nothing in between the foot, lets you maneuver, cushions the foot beautifully. Our Zoom X product, again, completely designed with data. So letting that data let us put things where it needs to be and where it doesn't need to be. And that's not just for footwear. So we're moving way into our apparel space. So looking at the body, where the body sweats, where the body needs moisture management and control, and beginning to place that technology specifically where it is. A couple more quick components. As the aesthetic, the way we've described this, it's radical simplicity. It's not adding more stuff. It's hybridizing technology to take stuff away, to edit, to refine and enrich. We believe in this idea of supernatural, so taking the nature and adding on top of that. And lastly, pure beauty, editing through ideas using new materials, new methods of make to have things shockingly beautiful. And I'm often quoted as saying that part of our job is to create products that give goosebumps. People look at it and they can't take their eyes off. It's hypnotic. There's an emotional connection to our products. Next component is something I'm really excited about. These new emergent technologies amplify the human imagination. They don't automate it. They don't replace it. They amplify it. And so it lets us, I think, as designers, imagine more, dream bigger, stay curious longer, explore different things, open up new ideas. And just a couple of examples here. We'll share with you our Breaking 2 kit, which was trying to break the 2-hour marathon. So we're designing literally everything to help that athlete break a barrier that we thought we could never drop. Every single stitch, hole, and adaptation on top of that body is to make him more slippery, to make him lighter. These shoes flex and give him more propulsion. So that entire ecosystem helps us help Ulid break the 2-hour marathon. He was shy, I think you know that, but he broke the marathon record by minutes. Trust me, 2 hours will fall. When we use technology combined with human imagination, 3 things happen. We dream big and get bigger. We get rapid iteration. We can do things in hours that used to take weeks and months. And it expands our curiosity. It expands what we can do when we stay and linger longer in the creative problem. And that leaves me here, my last slide. I do believe, as I said up front, this is a dawn of a new age. We are at an inflection point creatively. Technology and humanity are coming together, I hope for the better, galvanizing human creativity. You know, as I think about Nike as a competitor, we do seek a revolution to keep advancing our athletes and advancing our style. We strive with this idea to build a better tomorrow today. Thank you. I forgot to mention, Sam's coming up to offer some, we have questions from you, and then we said we'd take questions from the audience.
Yeah, we'll take a few. So John, I know a lot of Nike employees, and you all have an origin story, so I'd love to hear yours.
Yeah, I have a kind of a funny story, so, and I'll make it super quick. So I've been with Nike 25 years, and I didn't ever think that was going to be the case. How I got started was, as a young boy, I was a runner, and at the same time, I am dyslexic. And so I spent most of my youth running and drawing. Drawing was my native tongue. And so what happened was I was floating on a mattress one day in a pool, and I said, wouldn't it be cool if I shrunk this mattress and put it in a shoe? And so actually, my father was an engineer, and I sent a series of blueprints out in the 70s to then Phil Knight, the owner of the company. And the company wrote me back and said, here's a free pair of shoes and a t-shirt. You got a pretty cool idea. When you get old enough, you should come work for us. So somewhat destiny, I say. And I talk about that often because it was an indelible mark for me personally. And I think it shows how brands can connect to individuals.
Right. Fantastic. You know, I think if you look at the footwear that we're wearing here, we're seeing sort of a lot of history in sports design. I'd love to know your thoughts on how it's evolved over time.
Yeah. So Sam's wearing one of the oldest shoes. Got to be 40 so years ago.
Before I was born.
Oh, you're killing me. Okay. I was actually here. So that was, at the time, a tour de force, state-of-the-art running shoe, right? Here's where we are today, which of course is the airbag shoe, etc. I brought this shoe out because this, I think you may have seen or heard or read about this. It's this Nike Hyper Adapt. It's a glimpse of a shoe that is, I think, pointing us in a direction of becoming very dynamic with our product range. So who here remembers Back to the Future? Remember when Marty put his feet into the shoes and he stood up and it was power laced? Guess what? This is a power lacing shoe. I'm not sure that you can hear
Put the
this.
mic to it?
Yeah. Don't be shy. Come on. So what happens to this is when you put your foot in, it adjusts to your foot. You have these ability to toggle back and forth. Obviously, the light goes on, lights go on in the back. And this is a toe in the water, because eventually you'll be able to do this with your iWatch, your iPhone, and then down the road, this idea of products that are alive and responsive are incredibly cool. But where I think sports are going is sports and sport products will be trying to pick up where biology left off and advancing your anatomy in ways that products are very, very dynamic. So imagine if our birth biology wasn't our athletic destiny. Companies could come in and say, your body wasn't built to run a marathon, here you go. Your body wasn't built to dunk a basketball, check this out. So it gives that ability to have more people participate in sports, which I personally think is very important as the world becomes more tech-heavy, to sort of fall back into our biology and make sure that we stay human and connected to our breath, our heart, our environment around us. And I think sports is an amazing vehicle. I was just saying backstage that I think, you know, sports is also one of the last great campfires. You know, when back in the old days when there was a campfire, people convened and communed to hear stories and to talk. That's what sports is today. It's unscripted. When the ball goes in the air or the whistle goes off, we frankly don't know. And we are drawn as humans to commune to those types of events where we get to see what the best of us can do. We get to feel the ecstasy and the drama, and candidly, if you're watching some of my teams, the agony. And I think that is distinctly human. And so I think for me, maintaining that through sports is critically important.
Fantastic. So we can open it up to the floor for questions for John. We have one in the front row here. I don't know where the mic is.
Real quick, how do you keep your actual factories and suppliers moving as fast as you're moving in design? Because it seems like it's so intricate. Like, how does a factory that's used to just cutting and sewing move that fast with you?
How does your supply chain move?
Supply chains today are moving faster than they ever have. I think, you know, at this point, I think everybody, the designers, the brands, and the manufacturers are all simultaneously understanding what that future looks like, and we're all working together to figure out how to get there. So we're lucky. We've got fantastic partners. They are investing in technology. They're investing in materiality. They're investing in new make. They love the stuff that we're doing because the loss in translation between the sketch and the first cut, which used to take months to go, no, did you mean that? I meant that. No, I didn't. Now we can rapidly iterate in an hour. It goes overseas, something's built or made and comes back a day later. And so I think having that factory, investing in those tools and technologies will be a breakthrough for all of us.
Thank you. Any more questions? We have one here in the front.
Just a couple
We have a few.
I'm an industrial designer and a footwear designer and an educator. And now that fashion and technology are beginning to merge, how do you find new talent and how do you teach young people?
Great
It's
question.
a really difficult space.
Yeah, you know, and you're an educator? Yeah. Personal opinion. So I think that the way that we're training younger kids today is still through the filters of disciplines. And I believe that the disciplines are beginning to blur and probably should blur because the technology is so powerful today. And I have an older son who's a designer, and he, through technology, can be a great photographer, a film producer, an architect, an industrial designer, and a graphic designer all at once, and doesn't want to be pigeonholed, but wants the skills to do all that. So I think, and I do teaching as well, so I think what we need to do is have the technology keep pace, but fall back on the things that matter to designers. Form, surface, composition, make, and falling in love with telling a story behind design. So nothing I'm sharing with you today is about autonomous or automated design. That is not the future. I'm not advocating for that at all. I'm advocating for an advanced set of tools that expand what creatives can be and expand the imagination of designers. And so with our younger designers going through schools, I think we have to be open to letting them explore these tools and not just do the engineering of it, but become the poets of those technologies. Great question, thank you.
We had a question in the front here.
There's one back there.
So with you guys doing like the connected jerseys with the NBA this year, and also recently launching an activation where you do live design in less than 90 seconds for shoes, and obviously with the shoe on stage, do you think consumers are ready for the speed of technology and innovation that a brand like Nike is putting forth? Is that something that they're clamoring for, or is how do you feel consumers are adapting?
That is a great question. As fast as I think we're going, they're going 5 times faster. I think the next generation that's native in this doesn't care about supply chain. They want what they want. They want freedom. They want co-creation. And so I'm not concerned. I think what we're trying to do is pick up the pace that matters. And you had referenced, Nike Connect is an NBA jersey. I don't know if you've seen this, but you take your iPhone, you hold it next to a near-field communication patch. It links you to the players that you know and love, so it taps you into the game. So just by that touch, you immediately have a following content of highlights from that particular athlete or team. And you also mentioned making shoes in less than an hour. And we just launched in New York City a project called Project Utopia, which is a Skunkworks beta where we're creating shoes from scratch with consumers co-creating in basically 60 minutes. And so what we're seeing is that there's a big appetite for going deeper, connecting further with athletes, and there's a big appetite to have those consumers participate with us and show us how they want to express with our brand. Great question, thank you.
Is there a performance demand from athletes from multiple sports that maybe you haven't actually cracked yet? So they're all asking for a sort of similar trend or rise in their performance that you haven't actually been able to meet yet.
I'm sorry, say it one more time.
Is there a demand or a performance demand from Nike products that athletes from multiple sports are asking from you, but you haven't cracked it yet?
Yeah, there's a couple that I mentioned. There would be the wonderful basketball shoe that somebody who couldn't dunk a basketball puts it on, and it's a dunk-a-pult that just goes and dunks. And we're working on things like that. And there's
You can make that?
we're working on, yeah, for those that may not have the gift of height but want to dunk a basketball. I think Haptic feedback is something that we hear a lot, so giving athletes a deeper sense of information through the largest information center, the skin. That's something that we're working on as well, so that they're hyper aware of where their body is in space. Because I think, if you consider watching athletes today and watching athlete competition, it's one in a fraction. It's a fraction in space. It's a fraction of an inch or a fraction of a second. And so they seek the advantage to find the gold medal. And so all those things that help athletes make that advance, everybody is ready to do. Okay?
John, thanks so much for your time. Happy to have you.
Thank you, Fashion Tech Forum.